Welcome back. Today, we're answering a question a lot of people have quietly Googled at least once. What if $20 could actually cover an entire day? Food, shelter, transportation, everything. In most of the world, that sounds impossible. If you're curious about travel, budgeting, and exploring the world on a shoestring, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more insightful videos like this one. But in a handful of countries, it's not only possible, it's actually pretty comfortable. We're talking real local prices here. Not tourist traps, not resort towns, the kind of markets where locals actually shop, the kind of rooms locals actually rent, the kind of food that costs less than a cup of coffee back home, yet somehow tastes better than anything you've had all week. But cheap doesn't always mean easy. Some of these places come with 40-degree heat, chaotic traffic, or altitude so high your lungs need a few days just to adjust. Others are genuinely relaxed, beautiful, and almost completely unknown to the outside world. 12 countries, 12 completely different versions of affordable. Let's find out what your money actually gets you starting now. Bangladesh, budget paradise, but life is far from easy. Dhaka is one of the most densely populated cities on Earth, somewhere in the range of 23 million people packed into a metropolitan area that was never designed to hold anything close to that number. And yet, for all its chaos, it remains one of the cheapest places on the planet to simply exist. A decent meal from a local restaurant costs under $1. Rickshaw rides go for pennies. A basic but livable room in a residential neighborhood can be found for the equivalent of $50 to $80 per month if you know where to look and aren't insisting on anything resembling Western standards. Local markets are where the real value shows up. Vegetables, fish, rice, and spices sold at prices that make grocery shopping in any developed country feel genuinely absurd by comparison. Street food is everywhere. Dal puri, biryani, freshly fried snacks handed over in cones, and most of it costs less than a single coin from most foreign wallets. The trade-off is immediate and impossible to ignore. Air quality in Dhaka ranks among the worst globally on most monitoring indexes, with pollution levels regularly exceeding safe thresholds by significant margins. Traffic moves in ways that defy conventional logic, with rickshaws, buses, motorbikes, and pedestrians occupying the same space simultaneously through what appears to be collective improvisation rather than any actual traffic system. For those who can adapt to the sensory intensity, the density, and the heat, Bangladesh stretches $1 further than almost anywhere else on Earth. Pakistan, very low costs, very different rules. Pakistan doesn't appear on most budget travel lists, which is precisely why those who do choose to live there on a tight budget tend to be quietly astonished by how far their money goes. In cities like Lahore and Islamabad, local food is extraordinarily cheap. A full meal at a traditional dhaba restaurant, the kind of roadside eatery that feeds construction workers and office staff alike, typically costs the equivalent of $1 to $2 and arrives in generous portions. Rent varies significantly by city and neighborhood, but outside the more expensive expat-friendly areas, livable apartments can be found at prices that feel almost theoretical to anyone arriving from Europe, North America, or Australia. Public transport is minimal in cost, and the widespread availability of rickshaws and motorbike taxis keeps daily movement affordable. Traditional bazaars, covered markets selling spices, textiles, street food, and everyday goods are among the most atmospheric shopping environments in Asia, and prices there operate on negotiation rather than fixed tags, which means patience is a genuine financial asset. The adjustment required, however, is real.
Social norms around dress, behavior in public spaces, and interactions between genders differ significantly from Western defaults, and visitors or long-term residents who don't take time to understand local expectations tend to create friction unintentionally. Conservative dress is not optional in most areas, it's simply the baseline expectation, for those who approach it with genuine respect and cultural curiosity, rather than reluctant compliance. Daily life here can be rich, welcoming, and remarkably affordable all at once. If you're enjoying these insights and want more tips on living large for less around the world, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for future episodes. Nepal, living below the Himalayas for almost nothing. Nepal occupies a strange position in the budget living conversation. It's famous enough as a destination that a tourist infrastructure exists, yet local prices remain so low that daily life costs a fraction of what the same lifestyle would run almost anywhere else. In Kathmandu, a bowl of dal bhat, the classic Nepali meal of lentil soup, rice, and vegetable sides that comes with unlimited refills in most local restaurants, costs somewhere between $1 and $2 and constitutes a genuinely complete nutritious meal. Room rentals in residential neighborhoods away from the main tourist areas can be found for $30 to $60 per month for a basic but functional space. Add food, local transport, and incidental costs, and a comfortable if simple monthly budget sits somewhere around $200 to $250, a figure that seems almost fictional to anyone paying rent in a major Western city. What draws longer-term foreign residents beyond just the cost is the atmosphere. Kathmandu is layered with history, temples appearing around corners in neighborhoods that have looked largely the same for centuries. Hindu and Buddhist traditions woven together in ways that produce a spiritual texture genuinely unlike anywhere else. The practical challenges are real though. Altitude sits at roughly 1,400 meters in the capital and climbs dramatically in surrounding regions, requiring physical adjustment on arrival. Road conditions outside urban centers range from rough to genuinely difficult, particularly during monsoon season when landslides can close routes entirely. But for those willing to adapt, Nepal delivers a quality of daily life that its price tag has absolutely no right to suggest. Bolivia, one of the cheapest countries in South America. Bolivia doesn't get nearly enough attention in the budget living conversation, which is somewhat puzzling given that it consistently ranks among the most affordable countries in the entire Western Hemisphere. In La Paz, the administrative capital sitting at over 3,500 meters above sea level, a full meal at a local market costs around $1. Fresh juice made from whatever fruit happens to be in season goes for 50 cents. A comfortable room in a residential neighborhood runs somewhere between $80 and $120 per month, remarkable by any regional standard. The famous Witches Market in La Paz, Mercado de las Brujas, is one of the more unusual shopping experiences on the continent, with stalls selling traditional medicinal herbs, dried llama fetuses used in Aymara spiritual rituals, and remedies for every conceivable physical or spiritual ailment. Prices throughout the broader market system remain genuinely local, meaning negotiation is expected and patience pays off. Indigenous culture here isn't a museum exhibit, it's the living, breathing texture of daily life. Aymara and Quechua traditions shape everything from market customs to spiritual practices to the political landscape, giving Bolivia a cultural depth that its low prices don't begin to reflect. The unavoidable challenge is altitude. New arrivals frequently experience altitude sickness during their first few days, headaches, fatigue, shortness of breath, before the body gradually adjusts. Locals recommend coca tea, slow movement, and patience. Most people adapt within a week, but the cost of living, however, stays low indefinitely. If you enjoyed this insight, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more stories from around the world. Egypt, tourist country, local prices. Egypt presents one of the more interesting splits in the affordable living conversation. A country that receives millions of tourists annually, operates a well-developed visitor infrastructure, and yet maintains local prices so low that daily life for residents costs a fraction of what the same activities run in the tourist zones just a few kilometers away. In Cairo, street food is both extraordinary and extraordinarily cheap. Full madams, slow-cooked fava beans served with olive oil, lemon, and spices, is the breakfast of millions and costs almost nothing from a street-side cart. Koshari, a layered mix of rice, lentils, pasta, and spiced tomato sauce, is widely considered Egypt's national dish and sells for the equivalent of 50 cents to $1 at local restaurants that have been perfecting their versions for decades. Rent in residential Cairo neighborhoods away from the Nile View premium areas remains very low by regional standards, and public transport, a combination of metro, minibuses, and shared taxis operating on informal routes, keeps daily movement extremely affordable. Life along the Nile has a particular rhythm that's visible in neighborhoods where tourism hasn't penetrated. Men playing backgammon outside cafes, the call to prayer marking the day's structure, markets selling produce that arrived that morning from farms in the Delta. The gap between tourist Egypt and resident Egypt is wide, but it's in the latter where the genuine texture of daily life and the genuine value of the currency actually becomes visible. Laos, slow life, easy prices. Laos occupies a quiet corner of Southeast Asia that many travelers pass through quickly on their way between Thailand and Vietnam, which is precisely the mistake that longer-term residents have been quietly benefiting from for years. The country moves at a pace noticeably slower than its neighbors. Less commercial pressure, less urban intensity, less of the relentless forward momentum that defines cities like Bangkok or Ho Chi Minh City. For those who find that pace appealing rather than frustrating, Laos offers some of the most genuinely relaxed affordable living in the entire region. In Luang Prabang, the ancient royal capital now listed as a UNESCO World Heritage City, a simple but comfortable guesthouse room runs between $10 and $20 per night, while monthly rentals in residential areas can be negotiated significantly lower for longer stays. Local food markets sell fresh produce, herbs, sticky rice, and grilled meats at prices that make daily eating almost negligible as a budget line item. Night markets in Luang Prabang and the capital Vientiane draw both locals and visitors with handmade textiles, local snacks and fresh fruit smoothies available at prices that feel almost implausibly low. Laotian cuisine, heavy on fresh herbs, fermented fish sauce, and grilled proteins eaten alongside sticky rice, is consistently underrated by visitors who haven't spent enough time here to explore beyond the obvious. Buddhist monastery life shapes the visible culture in ways that feel genuine, rather than performative, with monks collecting alms at dawn, a daily ritual that has continued unchanged for centuries, despite the growing number of cameras pointed at it. Cambodia, cheap on the surface, complicated underneath. Cambodia sits comfortably among the most affordable countries in Southeast Asia, and in cities like Phnom Penh and Siem Reap, the numbers are genuinely striking. A room in a guest house runs as low as $10 to $15 per night, while monthly apartment rentals in local neighborhoods can be found for $100 to $150. Street food, rice dishes, noodle soups, and grilled meats from roadside stalls rarely exceeds $1 per meal. And, fresh fruit is available everywhere at prices that make daily healthy eating almost effortless on a tight budget. If you're enjoying these budget travel tips, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more affordable adventures. Traditional markets like Phnom Penh Central Market and the surrounding neighborhood wet markets operate from before sunrise, selling produce, fish, and household goods at prices aimed entirely at local purchasing power rather than visitor wallets. The foreign resident community in Phnom Penh is notably large, drawn by low costs, relatively straightforward visa arrangements, and a city that has developed rapidly over the past 2 decades without losing its local character entirely. The complications, however, are real. Cambodia's special economic zones, industrial areas developed largely through foreign investment along border regions, have attracted significant international attention for labor conditions and governance concerns that don't make it into most budget travel conversations. Online scam operations running out of some border compounds have generated serious international coverage in recent years, casting a shadow over certain regions of the country. For those living in the major cities and engaging with the genuine local economy, Cambodia remains affordable, interesting, and surprisingly livable. The fuller picture of what's happening in some corners of the country, though, is worth understanding before arriving. Vietnam, the best value for daily life in Asia. Vietnam has appeared on budget living lists for decades and somehow never stops delivering. The combination of extraordinarily cheap food, a well-developed urban infrastructure, high-speed internet widely available even in smaller cities, and a cost of living that remains genuinely low despite years of economic growth makes it one of the most consistently compelling affordable destinations anywhere in the world. Food is where Vietnam's value proposition becomes almost impossible to argue with. A bowl of pho from a local street stall costs $1 to $2 and represents a complete, carefully prepared meal that takes hours of preparation and uses quality ingredients. Banh mi, the Vietnamese baguette sandwich that manages to be one of the best street foods on earth, goes for 50 cents to $1. Coffee culture is serious and seriously cheap with Cap Suada, the strong iced coffee with condensed milk that fuels the country's mornings, available for around 50 cents at any local cafe. Monthly costs for a comfortable lifestyle in cities like Hanoi, Da Nang, or Ho Chi Minh City, including rent, food, transport, and entertainment, can be managed comfortably between $400 and $700, depending on neighborhood and lifestyle choices. That figure includes decent accommodation, eating out daily at local restaurants, and moving around the city freely. The foreign resident community across Vietnam's major cities is large, well-established, and genuinely integrated into local life, in many cases drawn by a combination of affordability, food quality, cultural richness, and a pace of life that manages to feel both energetic and manageable simultaneously. Indonesia, affordable paradise beyond Bali. Bali has become expensive enough relative to the rest of Indonesia that using it as a reference point for the country's cost of living significantly misrepresents the picture. Step outside Bali, or even outside the tourist corridors within Bali itself, and Indonesia reveals itself as one of the most genuinely affordable archipelagos on Earth, spread across 17,000 islands with wildly varying landscapes, cultures, and price levels.